Okay, now as your job recruiters and hiring managers are scanning through your LinkedIn profile, what they're going to get to pretty quickly is your current position. And so let's talk about that a little bit too. And we'll talk a little bit, well, what if you're unemployed? We'll talk about that in this lesson as well, and how to handle that. So first off, in your current position, that's the key thing you really want to highlight and really build out. If you have, further work experience, which will be in the next lesson, you can kind of, build on that current position and tell the story. But your current position is we really want to spend some time in. And it's related to your resume or CV, but it's a little bit different too. So with the current position, have a short description of what your position is and be concise around that. So if you're a digital marketing manager, you don't have to go into the job description of what a digital marketing manager is. That's just wasted space and wasted time. Somebody who's hiring for a digital marketing manager knows exactly what they do. So you don't have to explain that. You want to explain like your accomplishments, and that's where you can have that short description, bullet points of accomplishments. What were some things that you accomplished? What are some successes you've had? Don't be humble about it. You're not being a braggart. You just want to share some of those results that you've had. And I think from a results standpoint, anytime you can share, measurable results, more than like, people like me or I'm a hard worker. Okay, great. But more if you can show those measurable results, hiring people really key in on that. They love that stuff. So like, let's say if you show measurable results and it's things like, I helped raise sales by 4%, or I completed a project 25 days before the deadline. Things that you might be using on your resume or CV as a guide too, where you're including those things. And when we get into those sections of the course, we'll expand on this even more. But the real thing for right now is just to think about in your past, some of those measurable results were things that might show up in your performance reviews or things that you're measured on a daily, monthly, yearly basis, and try to turn anything you can into something where it's numeric is very helpful. Much better than like, I'm good at teams or I lead teams. Talk about I led a diverse team around a project that was ABC and we completed it 25 days ahead of schedule, and the result was we delivered the product even, and drove X number of revenue even ahead of time. I mean, you can get into that level if you wanted. But don't be humble and use measure results and spend some time in this current position, because your hiring managers, when we look at it, we're going to scan through that top part, and then we're going to look at your current position in a little bit more detail and see how it's matching up. It won't necessarily match up exactly with what we're hiring for, but we're looking for those matches where there's some overlap to see if you're a good candidate that we might want to reach out to for an interview, or if we're using it as part of the vetting process, maybe at the end of the process. Okay, so what if you're unemployed right now and you don't really have a current position? And you do want to fill out that block. It's a current position block, because if you don't fill it out, LinkedIn actually penalizes you for leaving it blank. Again, LinkedIn is all about algorithms and search and all that. And, so you want to have something filled in there. And I'll show you some examples what you can do with that, but you want to be honest about that. You don't want to, if you just left your position, you could say the current month or something like that. But if it's been a longer time, you want to be honest that, with your dates as far as when you've been there. And something you can also put in there in the current position is, this is the part where you might put, not at the headline statement at the top, you don't put that I'm looking for a job. That's once again starting to tell your story. At this point, now you're going to, I don't want to say fess up, but this is now where you're going to share that you're seeking new opportunities as whatever the most common job title that you're searching for, or looking for positions in the whatever industry it is, or those types of things. You could even put freelancing or consulting as a job title in there. Again, if you're really looking for full-time employment, you want to give people the idea that you are looking for full-time employment, that you're not just a freelancer full-time, that you're really looking for that. So you could say, seeking new opportunities as a digital marketing manager. In the meantime, I do freelance digital marketing as a consultant. You can see examples of my work at Steve Ballinger, digitalmarketingconsulting.com, or whatever. Just leave it like that. Again, you're sharing some of those successes, but you're also letting them know, and you can share some of your other successes too, like in previous positions, that you can have up there as well. But do put something in the current position part. And if you're currently employed, great. Again, use those measurable results and make it easy for people to read, scan, use those keywords, because once again, machines are looking for keywords. So use those keywords and be less descriptive of the position, be more descriptive of the results and those key software and skills and knowledge skills and abilities that you have, because those are the things that the keyword searches are built around. particularly around the first thing they're going to really start looking closely at, very closely at, which is your current position.